going on, everybody? It's Michelle. I am going to react to an interview from Mr. Peterson. I think his name is Jesse Lee Peterson. He's interviewing an activist, a queer activist, Tameka Butler. It took me some time, y'all, to digest this one because this one was a lot. So I also recorded a video probably a few months ago that was entitled "The Curse in the Black Man's Blood." So this video is a direct reflection of what I said in that video. It's not good. This might have a trigger warning. I just want to make sure that you are prepared for some real ignorance. But what I want to do is illustrate what it looks like, what it feels like to be the recipient of this type of conversation. So here it goes. All right.
Welcome to Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. America is divided over same-sex marriage and transgender laws. My guest today is Tameka Butler, co-chair of the National Center for Lesbian Rights. She received her JD from Stanford Law School in 2009. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
So you're a lawyer?
I'm a lawyer by training, but I no longer practice law.
Oh yeah? Why is that?
It wasn't for me.
You're a Christian?
Yes, I was raised in a black family. My grandmother, every time I talk to her, tells me how she's praying for me. She's
praying that you overcome that?
No, she's just praying that I'm safe out here. She thinks LA can be a little crazy.
So that's the first indication that he's attacking her. That was the first attack. So your grandma's praying that you get over that situation. What situation are we talking about? Let's keep going.
But she's probably was easier to accept than even my parents.
Oh, really? Your grandmother?
Mm-hmm.
So how does God feel about homosexuality? He
created me, and if he didn't want me to be this way, then I imagine he wouldn't have created me this way.
Do you believe that God created homosexuality, the spirit, the sin of homosexuality, or did some type of trauma happen to bring that on?
I can't speak for everyone, but in my life there was no trauma.
Now here's the thing, if 1 out of 3 women have been raped, molested, or assaulted in some way, then how much sense does that make for straight women, right? Straight women that have been assaulted in some type of way in their lives. So every 3 women, again, that you look at, they have been assaulted, and not all those women are queer. So that premise and that basic idea that we are all who we are because something terrible happened to us is absolutely ignorant.
I brought it on. I was raised by both of my parents. My dad was in the military. I traveled the world. I had 2 parents who loved me, who were always there for me, who coached my teams, who always showed up at school. I was a great student. Obviously, I got into Stanford Law School, and I think he created me to be a strong black queer woman, and I don't know that I believe it's a sin.
There's men and women who are overcoming homosexuality every day. What do you say to those people?
Everyone leads their own journey.
So if I am who I am and I'm constantly in an environment where people are telling me that who I am is wrong and I don't have anything to hold on to other than what they say, yes, I'm going to be confused about who I am. Yes, I'm going to think that who I am is not okay because of what I'm being told, not because of what I naturally feel.
Someone believes that it's something for them to overcome, then that's their opinion. I personally don't feel that way. And I think, in fact, there are many people who are much happier when they just accept who they are.
Do you believe that most human beings are in a fallen state?
What do you mean?
Meaning that they have fallen away from God. And in that fallen state, they are unconscious. They don't have the awareness of God, so wrong seem right and right seem wrong to them.
Now let's talk about who his God is, right? And the God that the Christian is talking about is their Bible. Every word in that book is their God. And when you decipher or distinguish between the living God and the written God, there are going to be 2 different outcomes. Right? The mission of Christianity is that every word in the Bible is not to be opposed or challenged in any way. So his God, yes, the Bible is against homosexuality in the sense That's the way that people interpreted what God wanted for everybody's life. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
But
When did you know that you were a lesbian?
pretty early on, probably in middle school.
There are Christians who disagree with homosexuality. There are Christian bakers who refuse to bake a wedding cake and participate in a same-sex wedding, and they're now being fined and punished for that. Should a Christian private business be forced to participate in a so-called same-sex wedding?
We can all agree that anybody who's being discriminated against the law is wrong. And it's
but if you have a private business, if you wake up one day and you decide, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to use my money, my energy, my time. Should you have the right to discriminate against whomever you want to? Because it might not be good for you financially, but you do have a right who you can serve.
Going back to my grandmother who grew up, in South Carolina at the height of racism, there were private businesses who told her she could not sit at the lunch counter. There were private businesses who told her she could not drink from their water fountains. And there were people who stood up and said that was wrong. You have to respect the law. And if the law says you cannot discriminate, then you should not discriminate.
But even in those days when your grandmother and others were forcing private businesses to service them, they were wrong for doing that, because no one has a right to impose upon a private business. So even back then, I thought that was wrong. And I grew up under the Jim Crow laws. I remember the colors only signs, but I've always thought that if I own a business, I have a right to service who I want, and no government or anyone else should be able to tell me who to service.
So this guy just really validated all of the hate that has corrupted the human connection because of their differences, because they look different, because they are different.
What I don't understand about and it's mostly radical LGBT people, they are going around the country and they are looking for Christian businesses and organizations to impose themselves upon.
Sir, ain't nobody looking for no Christian businesses to impose nobody's self upon nothing. Because we are uncomfortable around you guys. We don't feel, we're not welcomed. We're not wanted. Why would we look for a place to go when we're not wanted? No. Not if it's hurting you. Not if it's damaging you or destroying your consciousness or your self-perception. This is the type of foolishness that we have to deal with in the black community and especially in the black church.
What is wrong with them that they think they have a right to do that and the Christians don't have a right to fight back? Why? I don't see them doing it to Muslims or Jewish businesses. What is wrong with them that they think they have a right to impose upon Christians?
Well,
that's because Muslim businesses, Jewish businesses are not discriminatory. They might think it, they might understand it, but it's about business. It's about money to them. Nobody's looking for any Christians to impose upon.
Me, I think it's a hard question to answer because I don't think it's a good question. I don't know what a radical LGBT person is. And I think that more times than you have so-called radical folks, I think you actually have folks like my wife and I who just say, I want a really good cake. I like dessert. And I heard from my friends that this place has good cake. And so you go to that place and you don't expect to be discriminated against. You don't expect to be violated.
I don't agree with that. When you go in there and you say, I want a gay cake, a homosexual cake.
What is homosexual cake?
Because it's for a homosexual couple, right?
If you and I eat the same cake, my cake isn't homosexual because I'm gay.
No, so take a look at what this man just said. What is a gay cake? So we have gay juice, we have gay pork, now we have gay chicken. What? I didn't know about that. Let's keep watching.
It's like if we order pizza and you take a slice and I take a slice, it's not a gay pizza.
But why would you pass up a gay bakery to go to a Christian bakery that you know does not want to service you?
I don't want to presuppose that I know.
But no, you know that most Christians don't want to participate in that.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
That's why they attack. I mean, you have some.
True.
If you went to a Christian baker, would you sue them? Would you personally sue them?
I don't know. I'd probably talk to my wife and we'd probably make that decision together. And I think it would depend on you know, what we experience. I was raised by strong Black women who taught me that I only got where I was because other people stood up and said when things were wrong.
So you would sue them?
I would speak up.
But would you sue?
Like I said, if it was me and my wife, I would talk to my wife.
When you say wife and you being a woman, that doesn't sound, I mean, I understand that you like that and you accept it, but it doesn't sound strange to you to say me and my wife and you are a female?
That is the most ignorant question I have ever heard in my life. And it's ignorant because of his perception, because he perceives it as weird or wrong or unacceptable. He's trying to impose his views onto her already chosen, already comfortable, already accepted, already self-aware and confident life. This is what we have to deal with. We go to cookouts, we got to go to church, we go to the family gatherings, we go to funerals, and this is the foolishness that we have to deal with.
No, it feels great. It feels great. That feels really, really awesome to have a partner in life who I know I can always depend on. Makes me happy.
Does it bother you that the two of you can't have children together?
I think it's inaccurate to say as two women we can't have children. We can have children.
But you can't, not together. You can't get in bed.
But again, my heterosexual...
The entire idea that another human being can question what another human being does sexually or what they do with their body, that is a rapist mentality. I don't care what nobody says. The reason I believe that homophobia exists as strongly as it does in Black men, because we're not an option to them. They don't like it. It messes with their ego. It interrupts their ego. It makes it seem like they can't have something that they would potentially want. Even if they are married, you would not believe the amount of married men that I've had. Oh my gosh, like the most terrible encounters with, like this man here, Jesse Lee Peterson, because I am unavailable. I had a man walk up to me, y'all. I was walking to a building, minding my business. This man walked up to me and said, "Hey, do you use strap-ons with your girlfriend?" Out of the blue. I don't know this man. I said, "Sir, if you don't get out my face while I smack you in your mouth, like, what are you doing?" But that is so inappropriate. What a person does with their body, sexually or any other way, is no one's business. It's uncanny that they feel like they have the right, the audacity to ask these types of questions in the first place. Let's keep going.
But there's no way that you and another woman can get in bed and make a baby. Do you ever wonder, well, if God made me a homosexual and he intended for me to be with another woman, knowing that I would want a family, why didn't he make it possible for me to lay down with another woman and make a baby? Have you ever thought about that?
I believe God has created all of us. So if God created the people who figured out how to help my heterosexual friends who very much want children, and the fact that he created a way for them to do that, that we as a world, as a people have figured out how to operate in those situations, that leads me to believe that it is possible. So it doesn't
believe that they need that influence of a father and a mother.
I have had too many friends who have been raised by single parents. One, as a military kid, where I have had friends and I have had people in my community whose parents have died serving our country. I have had too many people who I know and who I respect and who I love who have been raised by single parents, dads or moms, to believe that it is impossible to raise a brilliant, loving, mature child.
Give me a yes or no to the question. Do you believe that the children, boys and girls, need the influence of their father and mother?
I just answered your question. I'm sorry if you didn't understand.
As a Christian, do you believe in sin?
I do believe in sin, yeah.
And what is sin?
For me, the easiest way to explain it, especially for non-Christians, is, I try to lead a life where I don't treat people differently than I want to be treated.
So, what is sin?
I'm sorry that we're missing each other, but I feel like I answered that question.
So when radical homosexuals impose on Christians who don't want to participate in their lifestyle, is that a sin?
I don't know what a...
It's not a lifestyle. It's humanity. When you don't want to participate in their lifestyle, what does that mean?
Two men or two women acting as though it's a man and a woman. God is not for that. He didn't create.
First off, a woman with a woman is not a direct reflection, or we are not trying to act like a man and a woman, honey. No. We act like two women.
That's...
I don't know all gay people, but I feel like it's not about pretending like one of you is a man and one of you is a woman. It's
Girl,
just being who you are and being open to love and being loved.
So as a Christian, you don't know what sin is? That's the only sin that you know, is to treat each other differently than you would like to be?
Obviously, he does not care about what she has to say. He wants to continue to press upon her his views and try to get her to answer the question the way he sees the answer and what the answer should be. Again, this is all what we have to deal with within the Black community, and also especially within the Black church.
Examples, a couple other examples of sin.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure what sin is?
I'm not sure.
Transgender people are now in the mix. And they want, if a man feel like a woman, he wants to go into the woman's bathroom. If a woman feel like a man, they want to be able to go into the men's bathroom.
First off, he's uneducated.
I don't think that transgender people are now in the mix. I think transgender people have always been around. The reality is people want to pass a law saying, oh, hey, like, we need to stop people from going into the bathroom that we're determining they shouldn't be in. But the reality is you're already using the men's bathroom with people who are transgender, just like people are already using women's bathrooms with people who are transgender.
So you're saying, yes, if a man decides that he feels like a woman, you know, he's at a football game, had a couple beers, and he said, you know what, I'm going into the ladies' bathroom. I feel like a woman right now. Let's say that my daughter is going into the women's bathroom, but here is a transgender man who feels like a woman going into that same bathroom. Do I have a right to say, no, this is not going to happen for the protection?
Your daughter has already used the bathroom
not the question. That's
with
not the question.
transgender.
Answer that question. Should that be allowed if I'm against that for my daughter?
For me to answer questions, you can't interrupt me. And I know that's been tough for you throughout this, but like I can't answer your questions if you interrupt me.
Burn! This interview, y'all, let me tell y'all, my blood pressure was up after I watched this for the first time, because this man is so disrespectful, and this type of behavior is what is considered appropriate in the Christian community towards queer people. There is no consideration for their lives, no consideration for their well-being, no consideration for their views or how they feel or their experience. It's like the Christian community wants to transfer their consciousness over into the whole entire world. They want everybody to think like them, everybody to be like them, everybody to follow the same rules as they do. And how arrogant is it for Christians to think that their way is the only way, and to treat people like this with such disrespect and with such hatred.
I don't know what your daughter does in the bathroom, but when I go to the bathroom, I have to pee or something else. And so I go into the bathroom, I go into the stall, I shut the door. And so what I'm doing in the bathroom isn't imposing on anyone else. It's taking care of my bodily...
Should transgender people be fighting for transgenders' bathrooms rather than imposing on straight people?
Should black people be fighting for black bathrooms?
It's not the same thing.
Yes, it is.
But
it's a put down to associate being black with homosexuality.
Well,
it's a disgrace to black people who have died, black and whites who fought for the freedom of black Americans based on skin color.
Right, you gotta put this thing into perspective, right? It is in fact an insult for someone not to consider the queer experience to be discriminatory or to have any type of negative effect on us at all, because they think that who we are should be dehumanized. Radical, in his opinion, radical LGBT people are people fighting for laws, to get laws changed? Absolutely, because there are none. It's worse. It's not the same thing. He's right. It's worse to be queer because all of the hate that we receive. Let's keep going.
One of my great role models, Audre Lorde, said something to the impact of there's no such thing as single issue struggles because we're not single issue people.
it's not a sin to be black, but it is a sin to be
In
a
your
homosexual
opinion.
because you can overcome homosexuality.
It is actually a sin to be black and not to follow your slave masters. So all black people that have been liberated, all the people that were freed from slavery, yes, it is a sin according to your Bible that slaves obeyed their masters. They didn't obey their masters anymore, right? They left. They were freed. So what does that make black people in the perspective of the Bible? And that's why racism is the way it is, because of the Bible, because it says that slaves obey your masters. All white people that are racist believe that we are slaves and that we should still be where our ancestors were, in the field somewhere. Y'all wondering why black men around the world, not just in the United States, but black men around the world are being murdered by police officers, because the authority over the queer community is destroying the image and the actual community itself. It's something that you're sowing into the earth. Let's keep watching.
I think if we're actually looking at what these laws do, they are about so much more than bathrooms. It's about denying people public access. It's about jobs. It's about employment discrimination. It's about
none of that is true.
It is true.
What it is, in reality, homosexual people, especially the radical ones, are not comfortable with being homosexuals, and they don't want anything or anybody around them to remind them that they're wrong. And so that's why they're trying to impose themselves on Christian bakers and same bathroom.
Are you homosexual?
They can't handle being wrong.
Are you homosexual?
No, but all sin create conflict.
But hold on. But if you're not homosexual, then you can't speak for a group of people.
I know what sin does for you. It creates conflict.
But you can't. I feel great being gay.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I feel fantastic.
You really don't.
I feel fantastic. I've had a smile on my face the whole time. I might be happier than you. I'm young. I'm successful. I own a home. I found somebody I love. I have a great degree. I feel great. I've in no way. I have not felt like I need to overcome anything.
The one thing I can absolutely guarantee you, with all the successes that you've been able to gain, when you're alone by yourself, when no one is around to validate you, you're not being praised for your successes, reality kicks in, and you have conflict about being a homosexual. You're not happy with it.
This is what I was telling y'all. It does not matter what you say. It does not matter how successful you are. In the minds of the black man and the minds of the black church, you feel bad when you're alone. Are you kidding me? I am very happy with who I am. I am very happy with my life. I am very happy with my business. My businesses. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna behave, not really. But this is how we're taught. Can you see this? Can you see the reason why the suicide rate is so high in the black community, especially for black gay men? Can you see why nobody wants to come to a family reunion? Or nobody wants to go to church? Come on, y'all. This is crazy. This is the thing. People who struggle with the thought of them accepting same-sex attraction, like some people, I believe, a lot of gay people started out like this, they feel terrible. And what I believe Mr. Lee is describing here is that he feels terrible about what he feels. How can he have such conviction about what he's saying? How can he know so much about what it feels like to be alone outside of his accomplishments, for people praising him for what he's done or what he's accomplished, and he's feeling bad about being attracted to another man? Let's think about that. And sexist. You're sitting here listening to this woman tell you that she's happy with who she is, but you tell her that she's not, because you don't care about what she thinks, says, or feels, because what you think is your truth, and it should be her truth in your mind. That is very sexist. Absolutely. Mr. Peterson.
That I am not, because you have no reason to lie to me.
No. I know how sin works. And when we are living in sin, we have no peace. That's why we have to always find things to do.
But I don't feel as though I'm living in sin. I'm being open and honest with myself.
Okay, I accept it. So I'm okay with people being homosexuals or whatever they want to be, because that's up to the person. I just don't like when they're imposing it upon, like with the bathroom thing for transgenders, with the bakers. But as far as being what you want to be, you have a right. Even God let you be what you want to be. He's not going to force you to change. And so I have no right to make that judgment either. I just think that...
Wait, hold on. But he just made a judgment for 30 minutes straight on everything he just said. He doesn't have a right to judge.
That Christians have to fight back when these people are imposing on them, or changing the laws and putting you out of business and things like that. Did you have fun?
No.
You didn't have fun?
No, I've heard it's a sin to lie, so I won't lie. I didn't have fun. I think this was in many ways personally damaging to me.
In what way?
But I'm happy that hopefully I answered some of your questions.
No,
and
you
hopefully
represented
had
yourself
fun.
very well. You did well. Don't worry. You did good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming.
Thanks.
Like, seriously, queer people. If you are in the vicinity of a person who talks to you like that, who even makes you feel like they think that way, it is unhealthy for you to stay around that person. But nobody has the right to tell you that you are a sinner according to their law. No one has the right to tell you that you are not beautiful the way you are. No one has the right to tell you that God doesn't love you for who you are and where you are. And Miss Tameka Butler, girl, you did that, honey. The world does not revolve around Christians. The world does not revolve around people who go to church. It is. And that's the one thing that Jesus in the Bible that they follow came against, is that people follow the law of being a good person. Right? Except you come to the Father like a child. Right? That's that innocence. The kids, when they get together, there is no discrimination. There is no type of bias or bigotry. This interview is a direct reflection of what we have to go through as queer people, as Black queer people in corporate America, at home, just because of ignorance like this. Can you imagine walking around with that feeling of discomfort, not because God wants you to feel that way or because God is judging you, but because of conversations like this? You are responsible for the reaction of this hate. She said it was personally damaging. And you wonder why police brutality is so heavy. It hasn't always been this heavy, but it's heavy now. I think y'all should sow better seeds. Have a good day.